Hello everybody, my name is Alex Schiller and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about gear, specifically the Vello battery grip for the Canon SL2 and SL3 and why you shouldn't buy it. Now the first thing you're going to say is you own it, why should you not buy it? And that's a perfectly good question. And it has to do not with like the product itself, but like diminishing returns and a pro and cons list. One thing I really don't do enough when buying gear, and I'm trying to get better at it. A couple things I'm buying in the future that will hopefully make this channel a little bit better, we'll see. But the first thing here that I just hate is this cable right here. I don't know if you can see it. You see it? Hello, you wanna focus on the cable? Focus on the cable, not me. Focus on the cable, not me. Yeah, good job. Wow, way to do it. So the reason I hate this cable is because you need to connect it to be able to use the trigger that they put so you can hold your camera vertical. And I love the ergonomics of a battery grip. I've loved it since I had my first camera. I love it on this camera still. The versatility of a battery grip is phenomenal. I have small hands, giving me something more to grip on, allows me to be more stable for cinematography, for photography, if I'm not using a tripod and stuff like that. So it's phenomenal. I love the ergonomics of it, but losing the capability of this because I don't want this cable right here that's just sticking out to get in my way as I'm trying to, you know, be ergonomic and giving my hand places to go. It really bothers me that when I'm holding the camera probably like this or something like this, like on the edge on the other side, I have a cable in the way. Not to mention I have like literally all of the doors on the side of the camera open because I'm running my shotgun mic on top, my Rode Video Micro, and then I'm running this little cable on the side, and then I've got the little notch, which is a whole nother thing that we'll talk about in a second, but the whole little notch on the battery grip that like opens the battery door. There are just a lot of cons to this to defeat the one pro, which really at the end of the day for me was being able to house two LPE17 batteries. And I love these batteries to death and they do pretty well by themselves, which is why this is not on the camera right now. But like when you defeat the purpose of buying your product by making the cons list of your product so high that the one or two pros that people are actually buying it for are completely defeated, they're gonna go to another product. And in the case of the SL3 and SL2, there isn't another product for us to go to. So like this is the only camera battery grip that I could buy for this camera. And it's not good. It's not worth the money. It's not worth saving the hassle of literally flipping the battery door, taking a battery out and putting a new battery in, and being able to access the SD card, which is a whole nother thing we'll get into in a minute. But just not being able to do basic camera functionality things when using this battery grip is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's disgusting. So if I had to break down my cons list for this battery grip, it would be four major things. The first, like we talked about, is the cable. It's just in the way. It takes away the functionality if you don't have it plugged in and you want the ergonomics of the grip. And so making this button completely useless if I don't have this plugged in, but it's in my way, so I don't want it plugged in, like, it's ridiculous. The second thing that I really hate is the little notch. So like the battery itself, like the dummy battery isn't connected to it. Like it has a notch to be like connected to it or whatever when it's like actually sitting in there and sitting pretty, but it has this little tube on the side of it that when you're doing the battery grip, like in the thing, you have to open like this little window in the battery area of the SL3 to be able to put this battery in there. And it like exposes delicate parts of your camera to the weather and all sorts of stuff like that. And then it again adds something right at the palm of your hand that your body has to like move around and like avoid, or like, it just ergonomically isn't sound. Like it's not great. The third is construction. It's all plastic. Most of the SL3, which I think is a big plus on Canon's part, is metal. It's cheaper metal, but it's metal. And so having plastic just makes your camera feel inferior, feel non-professional. I mean, yeah, you get some functionality out of it, but like at what cost? Like this is gonna break on you in a while. And not only that, it's housing like the power source of the battery or the power source of the camera in it. So like if this busts, like it's not reliable. Plastic is not reliable in this case. And the fourth thing, you see all these scratch marks? There's a video over here that I'm gonna show you in a second, but I had to scratch all of this down with sandpaper and razor blades to get the Canon to sit flat, to sit flush on this battery grip, because it was originally designed for the SL2. So if you have an SL2, it's fine for that. You can ignore this fourth part. But if you have an SL3, which is what a lot of people are buying nowadays, it doesn't fit the camera properly. You have to sand it down so it sits plain. It's ridiculous. Like, things like this shouldn't be a problem on equipment. Like, if you're creating a product that is supposed to meet a certain need, I understand this is a third-party thing, and I think Canon's at fault here for not making a battery grip for all of their DSLR cameras. I just think that that's an asinine thing that they should just stop doing, because they make it for the D series, they make it for, well, I guess the 90D, 80D, 70D, and then the S60, and then this SD. Yeah, the SD's a thing. The 60 and the 70 Mark IV are cameras, and the 7D has a battery grip too. My point is like every other DSLR in the group except the Rebel series has an option for a battery grip. And I think it would boost the use case of these cameras and make them feel more professional if Canon just made a battery grip. If Canon just allowed us to have the technology of the side function button over here without having this little stick thing, because most battery grips don't even have this little thing. They're like built into the grip, like to get all the other sensors and other things in there. Like, Canon is proprietary with that kind of crap, and so third parties can't do it, but buying a third party still sucks because they take away all of those like pros that the Canon one would give you and make them cons. And so it doesn't make sense to buy third party in this scenario, but it also doesn't make sense that Canon doesn't make a battery grip for the SL3 or any of the Rebel series in the first place. Like if Canon is a he, if Canon didn't make a battery grip for the SL3 and SL2, but it made it for like the T6, T7, T5, and all the I series of those cameras, okay, fine, whatever. Like this is like their very, very budget camera. Wouldn't want to put that much into it. Who's gonna buy this camera? But at the end of the day, like the SL3 is probably their best selling camera. It's one of those things at the end of the day that like gear is one of those things that you really, really have to pay attention to. You really have to make a pros and a cons list, go through all the specs, go through all the descriptions, read reviews. Because if I had read reviews for that thing, I would have known right off the bat that the SL3 doesn't fit and that the SL3 loses a lot of it doesn't lose a lot of functionality, it loses a lot of ergonomics, which is one of the main reasons I have this camera for no reason. And I just think gear, this discussion boils down to pay attention to when you're buying gear, pay attention to specs, pay attention to descriptions, pay attention to reviews. It's just, it saves you a lot of time in the future. And if you can, one of the things that I need to get a lot better at is you can rent. Because if you can rent and try out the gear and see if it's something that you like, I think that would save a lot of problems for you and for me. Because especially with like all the gear that I'm buying now, it's going to be super expensive. And so like I need to try it out first before I buy it. But then it takes money. And if you're on a low budget, just don't go third party. Just kind of work with what you have. Look at my budget video to see what you can work with on a budget that actually improves what you're doing with this camera instead of buying a bullshit battery grip that you really don't need. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't like me shitting on Vello for their battery grip. And subscribe if you want to see more on the channel. I have a review and an unboxing of a lens coming up soon. And then probably like an upgrade video for my PC. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so that you guys can get notified for that video when it comes out. And if you want early releases of all these videos, join our Discord down below. There's an invite link. Check it out. There's a bunch of cool little chat rooms that you guys can be in, including one for like early access to all these videos. So if you want that, go ahead and join the Discord down below. With that being said, my name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.